Hello.
Good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of Riker's Beard is Alive. How you doing, James?
Not so bad. It's been a lovely sunny day. I've been out to the forest with my kids. What about you?
So I've been, straight away off the bat. Apologies if I suddenly get caught up because my son is arriving home with the present Mrs. Richard at any time, sort of now, from a trip playing at the Arsenal Emirates Stadium. So he may bundle in quite excited. Apparently, he scored a goal and is very good. So I've had the day with my daughter, and I took her to Broadstairs to the beach to have an ice cream, an expensive ice cream.
Can you show us the way to the beach, Richard?
Sorry?
Can you show us the way to the beach?
Yes, the beach is that way. Yeah. All the way to the expensive ice cream is to get a dog ice cream for our dog. And guess what? They didn't have any dog ice cream, so there we are. Saved me £7 worth of dog ice cream. How the devil eats you? You went to the woods today?
Yes.
Did you go in disguise?
We were in for a big surprise.
Oh.
For every bear that ever there was. We saw no bears.
No bears.
No bears.
No bears. Hey, maybe they were in disguise. So we've got a fair bit of Trek to talk about this week. We've got a bit of news about the upcoming Starfleet Academy series.
We do.
An actress has been cast. I'm going to try and do a clever thing that Carl doesn't share the screen, so we can. Yeah, here we are. Right, share screen window. There we are. So here we have Holly Hunter, and she has officially been cast as the captain and the chancellor. I'm not sure. Are we having a chancellor instead of a commandant then? I don't. How's it going to work, James?
Well, ordinarily, whoever's in charge of the academy is an admiral, and we've only seen Admiral Picard in charge of the academy. I can't remember if he was referred to as a commandant.
Well, there needs to be a commandant.
I mean, obviously, you're right. There's no two ways about it. And that commandant really should be called Lassard.
If from the known Star Trek universe we were to have a commandant of the academy, I really it'd be a difficult one for me to pick. Good evening.
Hello, everybody.
But we've got Holly Hunter, who is, of course, famous for
something. She speaks a bit like this, doesn't she?
She does. And she's got a southern note, if I remember rightly. Hey, Adam, how you doing?
Hey, bud.
I quite enjoyed her in Batman versus the Superman: Dawn of Justice. She plays the senator in that gets blown up.
Oh, yes. Yeah. She gets killed, doesn't she, when someone blows up the American legislature?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's exciting if they're actually casting people now. It's pretty much certain it's going ahead. So,
yes, they've got the theme tune locked in. Would you like to hear it?
I would like to hear it, James. Thank you.
Here it is. There we go.
I couldn't use my sausage. So yeah, Starfleet Academy is locked in. This is, as far as I'm aware, the only announcement. I think there is a rumor that Mary Weissman is going to have a recurring role as Tilly. Is this correct?
I mean, they keep threatening it. I mean, to be honest, I'd be much happier if she wasn't in it at all. But, some people apparently like Tilly's character and can put up with... What was it in Discovery this week? Raina said, I don't need your warm and fuzzy encouragement. I don't need it.
I honestly couldn't tell you what happened in this week's Discovery. Yes, I have seen it.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to remember what happened.
It does feel like we're getting towards the end of the really drawn-out, tedious plot.
What happened to it? I'm really trying to remember now. Oh,
Well, they found the
egg
projection
opened, and
technology between two black holes. The Breen got there first because the Discovery crew were too busy gassing and deciding what to do rather than acting. And then they wouldn't have had the problem in the first place. And then they spent the whole episode trying to steal the technology from the Breen.
So this was it's all coming back to me now. I think this is possibly, and there has been there's some stiff competition for this, but I think this was quite possibly the worst directed episode of Star Trek I've ever seen.
It was a Frakes episode.
It was awful. It was absolutely terrible. It was like my first Trek episode I'm gonna direct. The story was completely off piste. But yeah, so they got the progenitors. It's an egg or something, and they managed to open it.
It was a big cylinder, but when the cylinder opened, it appeared to be a portal to somewhere else rather than having anything actually in it.
So it's sort of like Stargate.
Yeah. It's a star egg. Same sort of
I
principle.
mean, if next week they turn up in Egypt, I'm going to be really happy. That's going to be really good.
They turn up in Cheyenne Mountain with a chap saying Chevron 7 encoded.
So yes, I think we've only got one episode of Discovery now left, haven't we?
Oh, thank heavens.
I think we've just got the one left. But yes, big news. Holly Hunter. She's going to be, I'm not sure if she's going to be heading up the series. She doesn't really seem like a headline enough actor to be a new captain that's going to be leading the series. I do quite like her though. She's I thought she was very good in Batman versus Superman, but kind of, and again, we don't want to spend the whole episode bashing Discovery, but one of the things I really don't like about Sonic Martin Green is she just doesn't have the charisma and the presence. So, if case in point, Dr. Mbenga from Strange New Worlds, Bebbs, I can't pronounce his surname. He's just got so much screen presence and charisma, and he was in the latest Guy Ritchie film, The League of
Yes, you put me onto that last night, Richard. I was watching it and I fell asleep because I was tired, not because it wasn't a brilliant film.
But Bebbs
all the Nazis get killed. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
I love films like that.
Bebbs is in that, and literally every second he's on the screen, you're just sucked. He's got that je ne sais quoi. You know, you're sucked into his charisma. He's just got a purpose. When you see him, you hang on his every word. And I think that there's all of the captains, certainly from up until Discovery, have had that. You know, they've had screen presence. I think probably Kate Mulgrew had it the most, but certainly Shatner and Patrick Stewart and.
Do you think Mulgrew has more screen presence than Sir Patrick?
I think in Star Trek, yes, I do. I think she's the focus of the room, whatever room she goes into. I think she played it that way. I think Patrick Stewart definitely tried to. It was pushed. It was more of a democracy. His bridge. She was a captain. You know, she was definitely more in charge than he was. But yeah. Sadly, Sonique Martin Green, as good or a bad actress, you think she's got no screen presence, no screen charisma. Certainly none that I can tune into and enjoy. And Holly Hunter doesn't really have that kind of commanding. Do you know? I wonder how much it helps that a lot of probably the Star Trek actors we enjoy did a lot of theatre work before they did film and TV.
Proper acting.
Well, it's well, we know because we were very lucky to see Sonique Martin Green in person in London at that Netflix event, and I asked her about her fighting skills and whatnot, and she said she was a classically trained theatre actor, so that included training with a rapier, with a sword, and fencing and whatnot. But I don't recall her saying she'd been in anything. I mean, obviously she must have been in some small productions, but not like a big theatre production or anything like that.
Is
Do you,
there
do you recall?
a theatre version of IMDb? There must be.
Well, we'll ask Christoph. Christoph, could you please have a look and see if Sonic Martin Green has done any theatre work? So and again, not bashing Discovery, but the way she whispers and whispers and whispers, that ain't going to work in the old Vic. It's just not, yeah. She's not playing Henry III's wife. It's not going to happen. It's just really not going to happen. I've got
He's
a live
AWOL,
update.
Louise.
I'm waiting for someone to mention that. So let's just with the power of.
Oh, have we got a VT from Carl or something?
Hang on. No, that's not it.
Oh, the tension is palpable. What's going to happen?
So this is where Carl is currently. He's
He's delivering a baby. Look.
Let me pronounce this properly because he's in the north. He's cooking. Carl is cooking for people.
How could you forget his name, Louise?
His Carl.
Don't worry, but Mark's watching, so Mark's here, isn't he? So we've got fake Carl on board.
I've gone off piece now. I've forgotten what we were talking about.
Talking about
screen presence and Sonic Martin Green and the fact that I think, and I'm not saying that it's better or worse, but I think I'm of a generation that enjoy a theatre actor's voice and presence more than what appears to be the trend of having understated performances. I think it is a definite difference. When I watch some of the crap my kids watch, and they all whisper and have crap voices, like for example, my voice, mine is no good for acting whatsoever. I think the feeling is everyone's got to feel more realistic these days, and it's just my humble opinion.
Oh, more swearing then.
Yes, this is exactly what we're saying. I was very lucky. I went to see Sir Patrick and Sir Ian in Waiting for Godot, and wow, the experience was so overwhelming. It's one of those things that happens too fast. Oh God, it was over. It was, it was that you were just enthralled from the start to the finish. It was incredible.
Would you like to see me portray Avery Brooks on stage?
I would, yes.
This is Avery Brooks doing a little bit of Shakespeare. Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well. Did you like that?
Now.
Let's have a look at Sonic the Hedgehog doing the same scene.
Yep. Goodness me. So we're going to go very slightly off piece now, and drawing the relevance with the crying, and that's the new Doctor Who. I mean, I do quite like the new Doctor, but is there something wrong with his eyes? I mean, it's incredible.
I've only seen 2 episodes. I mean, hopefully it gets better after this. But the villain in the second one, the one with the people who look nothing like the Beatles in it, it's like, oh, Christ.
Have you seen the latest episode, 73 Yards?
No. I've only seen, as I say, the first 2.
It's like 90% of it is probably the best Doctor Who I've seen in a long time, and that's not just because the Doctor isn't in it. It was really good. So Sonika has a theatre degree from the University of Alabama. They have
Alabama.
You can get a theatre degree in Alabama. Is that similar to you getting ordained online by the Blazing Torch of San Francisco?
Yeah, I mean, literally, all I had to do was click
I might
here
get
to
a
be
theatre
ordained. It
degree
was
from the University of Alabama as well then. But neither IMDb nor Wikipedia name any credits
sorry.
for the theatre.
I'll put it back up. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we figured. She certainly doesn't come across as if she's had any real stage presence, none whatsoever. But Doctor Who, the first 2 episodes were bad. Episode 3 was good for Well, I very much enjoyed number 4, up 90% of it. Unfortunately, it suffered from incredibly lazy writing at the end, which possibly they may readdress in a later episode. I don't know, but we'll see.
Well, let's hope so.
But what is wrong with his eyes? Why is he crying all the time?
Well, there was a hint in the one that I've just most recently seen, which was that he's got PTSD from the Bi generation. But, well, yeah, that's all I can read into it.
Well, anyway, back to Star Trek.
Yes, let's.
Back to Star Trek. So,
before we leave the topic of Discovery, I think this week's Wish clip is probably quite apropos.
Okay. Have you got a Wish clip? I haven't had a chance to download. Did you put it in the chat?
I put it in the chat so you can screen share it.
Okay, bear with me.
Let's have the Wish sting while you're finding it.
Okay, all right. I can't do it all at once. Bear with me.
Oh, yes, you can do one thing while the other thing is playing, you see.
Hang on. What's the Wish sting? Is it that it? No, that's the Zippy and George.
Let's have that anyway. Okay.
Hello, boys.
Oh, hello, darling. What's your name?
My name's Carmen.
Carmen? Oh, that's a nice name. We're Carmen.
Why do they call you Carmen? 'Cause I like cars and I like men. What's your name?
Lager Fanny. Ha ha ha
ha. That doesn't get old, does it? Right, okay.
Well, I've got a special guest here, actually, as we had Zippy and George just appearing there. Please, ladies and gentlemen, be upstanding for Kermit the Frog.
Marvin, I don't know how do I...
Have you lost the wish sting?
I've got it. I'm just trying to figure out how to play it, because it's... Ah, here we are. Right. It's sort of squished a bit, but
no, that's not it.
Yes.
No, that's the wrong clip. It's also not the sting.
That's what you.
As in the theme tune for Wish, you fool.
Perhaps we can play this. We've done the Wish sting, but it was Zippy and George. So this is the only video clip.
No, go back further in the chat. You'll find there's an earlier one.
So what's this for then?
Just that's something different.
All right.
Oh dear. Right. I'll put some music on while you're looking for it.
No strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. I feel commitment's what I'm thinking of.
Right. Okay.
Have you found it?
I think I've got it ready.
Okay. Let's roll VT.
Okay. Is this it?
That's it. Yeah.
Well, there's no sound. No.
Oh, never mind.
So what is it then?
This is a video of all the people on the bridge of Discovery whose names we don't know to tell us who they are.
Oh. I don't really care who they are.
Oh, that's fair enough. Well, let's just move past that then.
Okay, well, there we are.
Thank you, Gary. Yeah. Yes, no, that video, and it has at the end of it one Jonathan Frakes, in case you don't know who he is.
He's the chap with the beard.
Hmm. Yes, all right. Well, what else should we do? I mean, we still have our fantasy crew to complete.
We have. What positions have we got left open?
So we've got Red Shirt, Executive in charge of radishes, First Officer, and Captain.
And we've used up all our toss.
Let's see. We've got Spock and Scotty. Yes, so we've used TOS. That's gone. I think we've used both of our Voyagers. Or have we? We've used Kim and Paris. So Voyager's out. We've used Phlox and Hoshi, so Enterprise is out.
Mm-hmm.
We've used Odo and Worf. Worf can fall in either TNG or in DS9, depending on how you want to play it.
I forget. So Odo's security and Worf is tactical. Is that right?
No. Worf was the counselor.
That's right. Yes, Counselor Worf. So a while ago,
I'm feeling a bit depressed. Pull yourself together.
Well, I wrote a short story. God, this is a few years ago now. I wrote a short story about a Klingon counselor, and I always wondered because you find out that Cisco was involved in building the Defiant at Mars shipyards, but you don't really know much more than that. So I thought, well, it'd be nice if we had a bit of backstory for that. Obviously, at the time, he would have been suffering from some PTSD from the Borg attack and all the rest of it. So the idea of my story was that to have him sort of thrown in to help design, build the Defiant. However, the condition of him doing it is he had to see a counselor. And the fun bit of it was that it was a Klingon counselor, because they kind of figured that Cisco was such a hard ass, only a Klingon counselor is going to get through to him. And I got a few chapters into it, but I think the problem I had with writing the stories, I made it too long, and I put too much humor in. And I did have the Klingon counselor literally battering the shit out of Cisco every chapter. But yeah, Wolf as a counselor, I think, is a great idea. I think a Klingon counselor is a great idea. So, who are we going to do this week? We're going to fill one position, two position.
Well, we've also got Transporter Chief as well, so we've got 5 slots available.
So it shall be a threesome.
We can do a threesome. Shall we start with the Transporter Chief?
Okay, then. Well, I mean, who are our candidates?
Okay, from Discovery, well, there isn't one.
No.
Or if there is, we don't know their name.
Yeah.
We can't use Voyager because Voyager's gone.
Who was Transporter Chief on Voyager?
I don't know if they had a Transporter Chief specifically. It tended to be Torres or Kim who operated the transporter, didn't it? Yeah. So that solves that.
The Next Generation, there's only 2. We've got Transporter Chief O'Brien.
Yeah.
Or unnamed character played by Terry Hatcher.
Well, in fact, I think there were a few others who appeared, but Terry Hatcher's the only one we remember.
I'd quite like to have Terry Hatcher on my ship. Do you remember that episode of Superman where she had a bubble bath? She was in that Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
That's a massive con. Like, it's not what you think it is. They just sit around and drink coffee and talk. It's crap.
So so that's your options from TNG. DS9. It was O'Brien again, wasn't it?
O'Brien again, yeah.
Well, we can't use TOS at all. Prodigy, I don't think they have one. Perhaps we should just scoot past that and come back to it. We'll backfill that when we see what we're left with.
It can only be really O'Brien, but then what are we using? Which franchise are we using him from?
Well, at the
'Cause we
moment
can't-
we've got Worf, so both he and O'Brien can fall under either DS9 or TNG.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it?
Chief, Transporter Room 2, your favourite.
The most awkward scene of Star Trek I've ever seen in my life. Always one of my favourite. Yes, sir. It's like the Fast Show, Ted and Ralph, isn't it? It's really, it really is Ted and Ralph. That scene, it's so awkward.
Dear. We'll tell you what. Let's do a red shirt because the red shirt we can just use up some of the Discovery, can't we?
Let's not shy away from the problem here. Are we going to have Chief O'Brien, or are we going to have Terry Hatcher?
Well, okay. Let's think of it this way. Depending on which way we go within our own rules, if we use O'Brien or Terry Hatcher, we kind of rule out anyone else from TNG to be either first officer or captain.
Bugger. So can we have O'Brien from DS9?
Okay, we can. And that potentially leaves open anyone from TNG if we treat both Worf and O'Brien as DS9. Anyone from TNG.
No, we can't because Odo's already DS9.
Oh, no, yes, so we can't do that. So
God, this is
there's
so
only one
hard.
TNG character for the higher ranks.
This
Now
is
let's
so
bear in mind.
difficult.
So we've used Voyager, so you can't have Janeway and you can't have Chakotay. I know you were anxious to have Chakotay as the first officer, but he's out. You can't have Archer. You can't have T'Pol in either of those roles. They're gone. And you can't have Kirk, and you can't have you can't have anyone else from TOS. So
So what? So
thinking about those two big roles, first officer and captain, you're going to want either Riker or Picard in there, aren't you? Out of what's left.
it's difficult, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
really hard.
We've boxed ourselves in here.
Okay, well, let's make the transporter chief someone from Discovery. Who's the guy?
Can you name someone from Discovery?
Linus.
Linus. Right.
Linus. He's our transporter chief.
Right, that solves that. So that leaves us with the red shirt, the executive in charge of radishes, captain and first officer.
Right, executive in charge of radishes. I was going to say give it to Tilly, but I don't think she cope with the responsibility. I think we should give it to Saru.
He does like plants, doesn't he?
He loves a plant. He should be executive officer in charge of radishes.
Okay, right. So we've got captain, first officer, and red shirt left to fill.
Red shirt.
Or we could make Tilly the red shirt so she gets killed every week.
No, we've used up Discovery now.
Oh, damn it.
What's that really annoying ship from Prodigy?
The Protostar.
No, shit, as in person. Not shit.
Sorry, I misheard. I don't know. I don't know the names of them. I can't really get into Prodigy.
The girl that's the engineer.
We could just call her the girl who is the engineer from.
Yeah, she's sort of indestructible. Should make a good red shirt. Moopsie. Well, that's the thing from Lower Decks, isn't it?
Oh, we haven't used Lower Decks.
Yeah, let's kill someone from Lower Decks.
Oh, Boimler.
Literally any of the irritating ones. Who's the lead one? That really irritating one. It doesn't shut up.
Mariner.
Okay, yeah, Mariner. She can be the red shirt. Kill her.
We can kill her off every week. Yeah.
Every week, please shut her up. Good God.
Okay, fantastic. Well, there you go. So that's -1. Lower decks -1. So right, so you can have up to one character from DS9 and up to, depending on how we play it, 2 TNG characters, one from Discovery. No, Discovery's gone. One from Lower Decks, and anyone from Prodigy.
So we've got no, because we used up. Yeah, all right. Okay, so we've got first officer and captain to go.
That's what we're left with.
So I mean, captain, I think is going to have to be Picard.
It's got to be Picard, isn't it?
But who are we going to have as first officer?
You could go left field. You could go Data.
I mean, for me, it's got to be Riker. But
oh, here's a left field choice. We haven't, strictly speaking, we haven't used Picard at all. So you could have Rios. He's quite fun.
I think Major Kira's a good first officer.
Well, we could have Kira if we treat Worf or O'Brien as having been... No, yeah. We've used Worf and Odo so far from DS9. And O'Brien. Did we use him? No, we used Linus.
In the comments, let us... Who would we have as first officer? Major Kira or Riker?
Or Rios. Or somebody else. No. Who's Rock Talk? Oh, Strange New Worlds. Thank you, Fake Carl. We've forgotten about what's her name? Number one. The one who's played by the girl out of the X-Men films. Rebecca Romaine. We forgot a whole series there.
A whole series? What have we forgotten?
We forgot Strange New Worlds. We have actually got one Strange New Worlds character. We've got Larn as tactical.
Yeah, we've got some. They are represented.
Yeah.
My question was Riker or Kira
or Rios.
Yeah.
Or number one.
Yeah.
So there's a choice of four. Tell us in the comments who you think. Right. Alan says number one. Christoph says the emergency Rios first officer. Oh, Rock Talk is the rock girl from Prodigy, which we asked for earlier.
Well, I'm going to say we'll go for Kira, and then Picard.
Kira, right. So that's our fantasy crew complete.
Right, count us down from. I'm going to play us in, top of the pop style, and you can count us. Ready?
Right, so straight in at the helm position, we have Mr. Tom Paris. Moving on from there, the science officer we have selected, Mr. Spock. The ever youthful ensign, we selected Harry Kip. Chief medical officer, we voted for Dr. Phlox. The communications officer this evening will be portrayed for you by Ushi Sato. Tactical officer aboard the Riker's PH will be a role filled by Laan Noonien Singh. Your security officer this evening, who will be responsible for arresting you and throwing you in the cells, is Constable Doe. The counsellor who's going to tell you how to pull yourself together. War. Transporter chief is the guy who looks like a lizard who has a cold from Discovery, Linus. Chief engineer was a no-brainer. It was obviously always going to be Mr. Scott and his brilliant impressions of Data and so on. Yes, I will take you to 10 forward. The first officer we've selected just now is Major Kira, or Colonel Kira. I should finish the series. Your executive in charge of radishes is Saru. Your red shirt who gets killed on a weekly basis is Mariner. And your captain is none other than Jean-Luc Picard. Here it is.
Me coolin'. Well, baby, I'm not fooling. Oh, I'm gonna send you way back to schooling, way down inside. My honey, you need it. I'm gonna give you my love. Gonna give you my love. I want a whole lot of love. I want a whole lot of love.
Excellent.
There we go.
There we have. Well, that project's complete. Now, I know what we could do next week. We could go through the same exercise, but we could instead of choosing the best possible crew, we could choose the worst possible crew.
All positions. Like, who would be the worst person to be in charge of the radishes?
Yes. Now, bear in mind, under the same rules, you can only use 2 Discovery characters, and you can't use Tilly twice.
Who would be the worst person to be in charge of characters? Jellicoe. Jellicoe would be brilliant. He's so many shriveled up radishes. And I told you to grow a 3-shift rotation. Brilliant. No, he's a good cook.
There we have it.
Worst possible crew.
Yeah, so we can revisit that next time.
I think we all know who the captain's going to be. Spoilers.
It's not even waste time. Just
It's
writing.
not even waste time. Yeah,
Michael Burnham there. Yeah.
Yeah. Just put that one in now. Yeah. Worst doctor. Who? Oh no, engineer. Who's that irritating thing from Strange New Worlds?
Tig Notaro?
No, Strange New Worlds. The new irritating.
Strange New Worlds.
Kate Kane.
Oh, the blonde lady who
incredibly irritating. Yeah, she gets engineering.
Yeah.
That thing's never even getting out of dry dock.
Carol something.
Yeah. Gosh, we're gonna fly through this, aren't we? This isn't gonna take security. We're gonna have a security officer.
Worst security officer.
Worst security.
Hang on, you're shooting your bolt too early here, Richard.
Oh, let's get some character assassination. Let's really get the knives out. Come on.
I mean,
I know.
Ironically,
from Voyager,
Worf. Because Worf gets beaten up pretty much by everyone he fights.
He doesn't. He's a badass. Now, Ichub from Naomi Wildman from Voyager. She can be in charge of security.
So what? Just because she's a little girl, you've gone, yes, let's put her in a position where she has to beat up baddies.
To be fair, the way that they make television programs and films today in Hollywood, normally if you're about 5 foot and weigh about 6 stone, you can just pick up guys who are like 18 stone heavy muscled and throw them around like they're toys. So that would actually fit in with today's narrative. So it's sort of like Tybo gone real. It's insane. But there we are. Oh, who'd be the worst person to be in charge of the transporter? Definitely Garak. I wouldn't trust him at all.
Would you not be thinking Barclay?
Mm.
Because Barclay, who's both petrified of it and incapable of communicating.
Saving Barclay for counsellor. Barclay for counsellor would be just insane.
Or just left field choice. We could put Troy in as counsellor.
No, she's got to be helmsman. Likes to ship one.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Yeah. Written off the Enterprise D and E almost. Yeah.
Doctor. Or maybe Garak for Doctor. He'd be a bit of a creepy doctor, wouldn't he?
Yeah, okay. Right.
Then so would Saru.
Not doing too badly there. We've we're not using too many franchises too quickly there.
Everyone's very quiet in the comments. No one wants to say who's the worst at what they do, which I generally think is wonderful. One of the things I love about this show is we have a good balance, and not everyone agrees with us because not everyone's right, and therefore it makes it an entertaining show.
Good evening, Paula.
Hey, Paula, how you doing? So how long have we got until we get some Star Trek, James?
Strange New Worlds out this year or next?
Don't know.
Christoph will be the oracle on this. He'll tell us. Christoph, could you help us? We know Strange New Worlds has been made. We know is there another season of Prodigy coming?
That's been made, and you can watch it if, as I do, you speak passable French.
Speaking of French and Jean-Luc
Oui.
Picard, something very much pleased me yesterday as I went down to the beach with my bambinos, and it was about 24 men
La plage, oui.
on bicycles wearing stripy tops and berets.
À la rue de la plage.
They all cycled past going, bonjour, alors,
Pain, de boisson, l'oignon.
encore une fois, je ne regrette rien. Où est le gars?
It is I, Leclerc.
It was tremendously funny. I think it was a stag night.
But yes, you can watch Prodigy if you would like to. Well, I think, I don't know, actually. You probably could watch it with subtitles. But yeah. But it's quite funny, actually. They still haven't finished making Prodigy Season 1. The final couple of scenes, they didn't finish the animations and released it without the stupid robot thing's legs and stuff. It's just looked crap.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Right, Lower Decks might be next, or the Section 31 movie, which filmed in April. That's wrapped, hasn't it?
Don't know if it's finishing wrapping. Lower Decks, I think, is coming out soon. I think that's the last, to some relief on my part, that's the last season of Lower Decks we're getting.
I know you're.
I'm looking forward to the follow-on South African interpretation of that series. What's that called, James?
Lower Decks.
I beg your pardon.
Lower Decks.
Is it more about Lower Dicks?
Lower Decks.
Lower Dicks.
Yeah.
Do you prefer Lower Dicks or higher Dicks?
No, yes,
I'm
Christopher
sure-
just mentioned Starfleet Academy. Now, they haven't actually started filming or anything yet. If tragically they've decided they're going to set it in the same era as Discovery, with the fact that therefore any characters who cross over will have to be from Discovery, then it's probably going to be poor. If they set it back sort of 25th century, just after Picard has finished, that's ideal. We'd be very happy with that.
Perfect. Because you could tie that in. Someone in the comments of a Facebook thread that I was vaguely following said that they were not happy about Starfleet Academy. They felt that the series that we all wanted was Star Trek Legacy. I don't see why they can't be intertwined. I don't see why you couldn't have them both. But,
or as they're churning out Star Wars TV series like there's no tomorrow. I mean, you've got The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, Andor, The Acolyte, I think, is coming out, Ashoka. So they've got about 5 separate series all running concurrently.
I know,
Why can't Star Trek do that?
a lot of the Star Wars stuff they're churning out's gash, though, isn't it? I mean, it's
I wasn't going to say it.
Oh, it's absolute hogwash. I mean, it's very polarizing because some of it's very good, and then a lot of it's just very poor, and they don't seem to have a middle ground, which I guess is good. But it's weird. It's talking about polarizing. Andor. Lots of my Star Wars friends rave about it. I bloody fell asleep. It was, I mean, it wasn't as bad as Discovery, but God, you're just waiting for something to happen. Do you know what I mean? It was just. Oh, I put up Christoph's last post.
This one. Oh, hang on. There we go.
Stop it.
Look at it.
Also, they have found overseas a British guy who did lots of X-Men universe. Also was on Martian. Friend of the show, Tony Lee's done a lot of X-Men stuff.
Well, let's get him on and ask him to
And
reveal.
he's British.
Hmm.
Have you got the dun dun dun? There we
And
are.
of course,
I wonder if it's Tony. Shut up, Christoph.
I think we should get Christoph to be called the Oracle.
The Oracle.
Do you remember when the boys from First Contact, or FCD, they used to do a webcast, and there was about 20 minutes of adverts before it started, but there was the two of them on the sofa talking, and then the disembodied voice of our friend Adrian would come in as like the Oracle. I think maybe we could get Adrian to come on here and be the Oracle again. That was great fun.
I've not seen it, I'm afraid.
That was my favourite part of their web show. They don't do it anymore. They've all had a falling out. But
oh no,
yeah.
What happened?
Well, somebody may have misappropriated funds, is what I understand.
Who's a thieving git? What happened?
Well, we're not going to say any names on the internet because we could get sued for that.
Private message me and I won't say it.
Yes, I'll private message you and tell you later all the
I'll
story.
do it now and I definitely won't say it.
I'd love to, but I just can't type while I'm also talking.
He's a thieving toe rag. I really hate thieving toe rags. They really do get on my wick. Now, the thing about the situation you're talking about, whose name we can't mention, is they take advantage of people's good nature. And in the track community, we have a lot of good nature. It's what we pride ourselves on. So when someone chooses to use that to rinse someone out of their hard-earned money, honestly, it's very rare these days I feel prone to violence. But I could give them a jolly good hiding.
I think a number of people watching will know exactly who I'm talking about.
Honestly, this chap needs a good duffing over. And I wouldn't do anything permanent to him, but, you know, a good duffing over.
Good duffing. Right. Have you got any more competitions for us this week?
Competitions?
Yes, like, you know, name that door or choose your choose or stampity stamp or anything of that kind.
Got nothing.
You're not prepared now.
It's one of these things where I'm really busy at work these days. I don't have time to come up with all that great shit I used to. That quality. I mean, we've got loads of stuff we can recycle. I mean, goodness me. If we want to chuckle, we can play the extras clip from Patrick Stewart.
Yes, let's do that. Go on.
I'm writing the screenplay, and I find the whole process absolutely exhilarating.
What's yours about, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, how best to explain it? You've seen me in X-Men.
Yeah.
The character I am, Professor Charles Xavier. If you remember, he can control things with the power of his mind. He can make people do things and see things. So I thought, what if you can do that for real? I mean, not in a comic book world, but in the real world.
All right.
So in my film, I play a man who controls the world with his mind.
Right. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, for instance, I'm walking along and I see this beautiful girl and I think I'd like to see her naked, and so all her clothes fall off.
All her clothes fall off?
Yes, and she's scrabbling around to get them back on again, but even before she can get her knickers on, I've seen everything. You know, I've seen it all.
Okay. It's a comedy, is it?
No. It's about what would happen, you know, if these things were possible.
What's the story, though? What's the...
Well, I do other stuff, like I'm riding my bike in the park, and this policewoman says, "Oi, you can't ride your bike on the grass," and I go, "Oh no," and her uniform falls off, and she goes, "Ah!" and she's trying to cover up, but I've seen everything. Anyway, and I get on my bike, I ride off. On the grass.
So, it's mainly you sort of go around seeing ladies' tits?
Mainly. And I do other stuff, like I go to the World Cup final, and it's Germany versus England, and I wish that I were playing, and suddenly I am, and I score the winning goal, and they carry me into the dressing room, and there's Rooney and Beckham, and then Posh Spice walks in, and...
Her clothes fall off?
Instantly.
Sure.
And she doesn't know what's happening, but I've seen everything. Again.
Good. Is there a narrative at all? Is there like a story in the film, or is it just...
Well, I'm a sort of James Bond figure.
Right.
And I have to go to Iraq to rescue these hostages. And I get there and I rescue them. But they're all women and they're naked because their clothes have rotted off. But I get them into the helicopter and I'm flying the helicopter. But I can still sneak a look in the mirror and I can see everything. One of them's bending over, two of them are kissing.
They've turned lesbian.
Yeah, because they've been in the camp for so long.
I mean, what I love the most about that is the way that Ricky Gervais says, "Oh, so it's a comedy," and Patrick Stewart goes, "No." I mean, they apparently that took them over a day to shoot that scene because Ricky Gervais just could not stop laughing. Patrick Stewart delivered it perfectly. I mean, I'm trying to think of any other comedy I've seen him do, but he does that. I've not watched the whole episode, but that scene he does it so well. He's such a professional. He's just absolutely amazing. I think he did a production of As You Like It. So,
well, he is was very big with the RSC, so I'm sure he's done
Yeah.
a number of Shakespeare comedies.
yeah.
I mean, A Midsummer Night's Dream is the funniest if you do watch any Shakespeare comedy.
Really?
Yes.
I thought Much Ado About Nothing was my favourite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always had a soft spot for that one. I've always enjoyed his comedies more than his tragedies, and certainly the Kenneth Branagh one. I took a girl to see that. Honestly, so 13-year-old, 14-year-old me.
Mr. Highbrow.
I was really into my Shakespeare. I was really into my Shakespeare, and I asked the girl out to the cinema, and we had no kind of plan other than that. And we hopped on the train from Broadstairs to Westgate to the Carlton, and this girl was a lot more. What's the polite way to say this? So she had lived in the area, had since moved to Brixton, was back down visiting. She had a very short skirt, leopard skin, type Lilo Lil. Okay, right. And she said, "What are you going to watch at the cinema?" And I said, "I'd really like to watch Kenneth Branagh's Much Ado About Nothing." And she sort of looked at me. I went, "Keanu Reeves is in it." She went, "Oh, okay." he was terrible. He was really bad. He played Mercutio. He was terrible. So yeah, nothing blossomed of that relationship.
Mercutio.
Now, we're going to have quite a night there because I've just heard that my firstborn is home, and he will doubtless be wanting to tell me about his day playing at the Emirates Arsenal Stadium and the goal he has scored. So I must rush off because I have more pressing matters.
Well, that's fair enough. And as we're one man down, the show should really be a third shorter anyway.
Yeah, I'm only 5 foot. Well, gosh, I've probably shrunk a bit now. I'm probably back down to 5'7". But anyway, please do look after yourselves and each other.
Toodle pip.